and say to them, don't let your sweetness turn sour. Say it again, don't let your sweetness turn sour. A lot of times when you look at people, they greet you friendly, and next thing you know, down the pages of time as they go, they get sour on you. But everybody needs to be sweet. Don't let your sweetness turn sour. The Israelites had been in captivity. The Israelites had been in captivity for 400 years. Moses was chosen of God to be their deliverer, to bring them out of bondage. Moses had a sister who was part of his household. And there's something about her life that is revealing, very revealing for us. And we should learn something about the life of the sister of Moses. There are characters in the Bible that we really can put ourselves right in their shoes. And so we ought to learn something about this woman. She is a woman by the name of Miriam. Now, as we look at the experience of Miriam, she has some sweetness in her. As we examine the life of this woman, we find that she was faithful and she was responsible at an early age. The population of the children of Israel was increasing, and there were more in number than the Egyptians in Egypt, because God had blessed those Hebrews and they started multiplying. And Pharaoh said that they are more mightier than us. So he decided to thin the population. How? By killing the male children. I want you to realize today that the males are on the endangered species list today. Because every time you turn around, the males are caught up in some trouble on the news. It's a disgrace, it's a shame the way our men are. Are y'all listening to me? If you can make it to the age of 30, you're doing all right. Without getting on drugs, without getting in prison or locked up, without being shot or messed up, you doing good. The average person, before they get to the age of 30, they're in trouble. And I'm talking about the males. And if the devil can get the males, he can mess up the family. The authority is in the male, because God is raising up men, and he told the men to be the head. And when you take authority out of the house, when a man can't be the man, but the woman is the head, it's backwards. Are y'all listening to me? I can't handle a man that can't stand up and be a man. And anytime a man cannot be and take the role in his place as a man, that man is called, in my words, henpecked. Can't get no amen. And God is hitting these men and telling us through his word, stand up and be a man. And the devil is hitting them with everything he got. He's taking them out. The news is so sad to see now. And so he decided to kill out the population, thin it down by killing the male children. So Pharaoh commanded the midwives to kill all the male children when they deliver a male. The Hebrews would have had their babies before the midwives could get to them. They got smart and said, we'll take care of that too. We ain't gonna let this happen to our boys. When Pharaoh heard about what was going on, he commanded his people to throw the Hebrew males into the Nile River. But the females were allowed to live. The mother of Moses hid her child for 3 months. When she couldn't hide the child any longer, she made a basket and sealed it with slime and a tar-like substance to keep the leaks out, called pitch. It's the same substance that Noah put up under the ark and sealed it so it wouldn't leak. And so she sealed that basket and put that little baby in that basket and allowed that baby to float along the bank. And with tears in her eyes, she pushed her little baby on down the river, trying with all she could to save his life. But there was a little girl there, a little girl, his sister, named Miriam. She decided to watch at a distance and to see what would happen to her brother. Pharaoh's daughter saw the child, and she was somewhat close by. She saw the child and had the child brought out of the water. And when she saw that it was one of the Hebrews' children, she had compassion on that little baby. Miriam, who probably at that time was between the age of 7 and 11, showed good judgment. And she said to Pharaoh's daughter, thinking how she can maneuver this thing, she said to him, or to the daughter, do you want me to go and get a Hebrew to nurse this child for me? And she was told yes. And at a young age, she was serving her brother. So she went and got the mama. And look how God connected the mama right back to the baby. If it had not been for the sweetness of one girl, look what had happened. Can you say help me, Lord? Miriam in Exodus 15 was a leader of women. She was a prophetess. God had put his hands on her and gave her the gift of prophecy. She operated in the prophetic realm. And a prophetess is a woman that is inspired of God and directed by God to know and to teach his will. And when the children of Israel got in trouble standing at the Red Sea, and as they went across the Red Sea and saw the enemies drowned in the Red Sea, saw Pharaoh's army in that water that was folding on them, horses, chariots, soldiers and all, she noticed that they drowned. And in the drowning of the enemies, never to see them again, Miriam got a timbrel in her hand and led the women in praising God because the enemy was defeated. Say, help me, Lord. But Miriam was defeated herself. Something got into her spirit. Later on in the book of Numbers 12, we find that there was some bitterness that got in that sister. You got to watch yourself. Because things that go on now, you don't be careful, you'll have bitterness connected with your spirit. And that's a work of the flesh, to have bitterness and strife on the inside. Y'all gonna help me today. Moses, he married an Ethiopian woman, a Hebrew marrying another race. So sometimes people ask me, is it all what you think about the Caucasian marrying the black in different races? I said, well, that's up to them. There's no sin in that. Why? Because I see two races here that got married. And so when they got married, Miriam let the devil use her mouth. Are y'all with me? Moses married that woman, and Miriam spoke against Moses. The question is, was Moses' wife the real problem? Miriam may have resented the fact that he had married this woman. But that ain't none of your business before marriage. People gonna do what they want to do. You may not agree with it, but suck it on up and get out of the way, because folk gonna do what they want to do when they get drunk. It wasn't a sin for him to do that, but something in her spirit caused her not to really agree with it. And she was probably spilling out